This tutorial video is to show you how to paint clouds. So your very first step is to paint the background of whatever your sky is going to be. So mine is a blue sky, and I just painted your basic blue dark to light type of sky, and then I waited for it to dry. So now it's completely dry and I'm ready to start working on clouds. The first thing that I need to do is really look carefully at the clouds and try to determine what colors I'm going to need to make those clouds. And of course I'm going to need white paint, but I'm also going to need some different shades of blue to mix with my white, maybe even some purple or black to kind of make some of these other kind of darker areas. So I'm going to start with some of the white paint that comes in the tube, and this is what it looks like. When you're ready for this kind of paint, raise your hand and I'll come over and put some in your paint tray, which is what I did here. And when it comes out, it's pretty thick like this, so you have to add some water to it. But because we want to make sure that the white shows really well, you don't want to add too much water. So I'm just kind of moving it around. It kind of looks like toothpaste to start with, and then you want it to be a little runnier. Okay, so notice I have a red hand small brush here. You can really use whatever kind of brush you want for this. Just depends on more on the brush stroke than anything. So I'm just going to kind of start towards the top, and the idea is to make the clouds so that they will eventually blend into the sky a little bit. So I'm kind of using a rounded brush stroke here and kind of like making like an arched type of brush stroke, and I'm going to notice the white kind of starting to disappear. That's okay. That's really what I want to happen so that it looks natural, because clouds are not, you don't want to do just like this type of thing with a puff ball and fill it in, because that won't look realistic. Okay, so as I'm working through this, I'm discovering that I need to add some blue. So I'm going to get a little blue, not too much water, and mix it just slightly with my white on my round tray, or whatever color tray, kind of tray you have. And then I'm going to apply that just in the particular areas where it shows on my picture. So like right in here is blue, 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 blue. So that's where I'm going to fill that in. Down on the bottom here, this looks darker blue, so I need to get a little bit of the dark blue and start kind of filling that area in. And eventually I might just need to take some plain water and kind of go over this with water to make it disappear at some point into the background. So you'll notice that it's kind of starting to disappear. And because this particular cloud is really big and billowy, I would just keep going with my layers. But if I wanted to just make this any type of a general cloud, I definitely want to blend it in with the background. So I'm just using some water on my paintbrush to kind of blend that in. If I want to do more clouds off to the side, I could just kind of move my brush throughout, but I do not want to make it look like this big chunk of white. So I'm using kind of a variety of brush strokes. I can go up like this and out, kind of up and out like this. I'm going to take that strong white on the top, not adding very much water to it, kind of do some dabs of paint. So that's kind of the idea behind doing clouds. If these were colored clouds, then I would just use the same type of technique, but then I would use the color that I see on my picture, and keeping in mind that I have to again do a lot of mixing, and I'm doing brush strokes like this or like this, and eventually blending it in using the water.